All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Yeah.
What's up, sports fans? Welcome to Gonzo and the Judge Sports Talk here Monday night, October 3rd, 2022. Hard to believe it's already October, man. This year has flown by. Got a lot to talk about. We'll recap yesterday's action in the NFL. Also had a big Monday night game tonight. 49ers look pretty damn good tonight. Kind of surprised me with their offense, with their offensive lineman being out. I was a little scared, but 49ers defense looked good, and offense was able to do enough as they held the Rams to 9 points, just 3 field goals. Only the fourth time in Sean McVay's career that his team hasn't scored at least one touchdown in a game. And Jimmy G moves like 7-0 in the regular season against the Rams since he's been with the 49ers. But joined tonight by the Judge, as always. How's it going, Judge?
What's going on, man? I would be a lot better if the Rams would have won the freaking game.
Hey,
you know,
I had to suffer through my loss yesterday, so you guys suffered through a loss tonight.
Well, I mean, it's as if this team has forgotten how to win football games. This team looks lost. This team looks unorganized.
Stafford has not played great this year at all.
They look undisciplined, and Stafford has reverted, to his old ways. He doesn't look nearly like the quarterback he looked like last year. This was a guy who was traded to the Rams, revamped his career with the Rams, played with a different type of swagger last season, and all of a sudden he has regressed, and it's a bit alarming. You got defensive players out there missing tackles, not making big plays. The offensive line is one of their big blemishes. We saw that tonight as well. Hell, Matthew Stafford was sacked so many times that I lost count.
That's what I was going to say.
I lost count. I lost count as to how many times he was sacked.
I know he was sacked 4 or 5 in the first half, but
I completely lost count. It was preposterous.
Good evening, Glenn. How's it going? Hopefully you're recovering from that tough loss yesterday.
What's up, Glenn?
I don't think it's much as Stafford really regressed, and I don't think he played with a whole lot more swagger last year than what he did in Detroit. It was just nobody really watched him play in Detroit because it was the Lions. If you watch Stafford, he's always been good. He just was with the Lions and didn't get a lot of view. And all this year hasn't been on the Lions. I mean, you just brought up a big problem is the offensive line. When you're getting sacked like that, under pressure all that time, it can make for a long night.
And that it was. It was a long night for the Rams. Now they got a little bit of time to recover and hopefully regroup and bounce back next week the same way the Kansas City Chiefs bounced back last night.
Yeah, Chiefs bounced back last night. Thanks, Dustin. Congrats on your fantasy win this week. I went 3-1 in my fantasy leagues this week again. Sean McVay is now 1-11 versus the 49ers in the regular season. And Stafford lost O'Connell and Hill. That's why he is struggling. But yeah, I'll tell you what, this San Francisco 49ers defense isn't no joke. I've watched them play a couple games this season now. Hey, they got a hell of a defense.
They do. They got a great defense led by Fred Warner. He was making big plays tonight. He looked terrorizing out there, was able to, disrupt plays, particularly in the passing lane. The 49ers just played an all-around better game. And, they come in prepared every time they take on the Rams, particularly at Levi's Stadium where this game was played tonight. They hosted the Rams. They didn't disappoint. They put on a show in front of their fans, and they threw the kitchen sink at the Rams and held the Rams to 9 points.
Yep. Oh yeah, they did.
Yes, DeMeco Ryans deserves an NFL coaching job. He is definitely gonna be a coaching candidate. He was last year, believe it or not, a coaching candidate. In last year's hiring cycle, and I don't see why he wouldn't be in this upcoming hiring cycle when jobs start to open up and there are vacant coaching jobs available. I think he will be one of the names mentioned for sure.
Oh yeah. Let's see, Glenn doing great. I recovered pretty quickly. I bet you did with Chase Elliott getting the win. I bet you were having a good day after that. That helped you get over that Colts win quick, didn't it?
That was a tough blow for you guys yesterday, wasn't it?
They played terrible. Dustin said he'll end up.
They played terrible. They looked awful.
Dustin said DeMeco will end up in Seattle when Carroll leaves. Colts played awesome. I'll give you my quick thoughts on that. They need to fire Frank Reich. If I'd have been the damn owner of that team, I'd have fired him yesterday on the field like Arizona State did Herm Edwards. When you have the game winning, you have a chance for a game winning drive, and you don't have Jonathan Taylor on the damn field. Your best offensive player, maybe your best player on the damn team, one of the best running backs in the league, if not the best running back. I'd fire him. And it was all because the drive before they were going down the field. Colts outplayed the Titans in the second half. Problem was we got off to a slow start in the first half. Second half, our defense didn't give up no points. Offense got moving, but we had 3 possessions in the second half where we were in Titans territory and didn't get no points. Well, the drive before the last one, we're in Titans territory. Taylor's running the ball. He gets stood up. And there's like 3 players on him, and he's going backwards, and they end up stripping the ball from him. So it was the fumble. Well, then defense makes a 3 and out. We get the ball back. And since he fumbled the ball, fucking Frank Reich left him on the bench. And didn't play him that last drive. Oh,
well,
here's the reason. And here's the reason. Nothing against Nyheim Hines. Nyheim Hines is a good playmaker, can make plays, but he's not near the pass protector that Jonathan Taylor was. And Nyheim Hines got blown up twice in a row, and we got sacked on that last drive. But no, we have our best pass protector, and like I said, arguably our best offensive player, and arguably our best player on the team, standing on the sideline because the coach wants to cry because there was an error made. I don't see you benching I don't see you benching the damn offensive line that can't block. Jonathan Taylor averaged 2 yards rushing yesterday. Behind the offensive line, it's one of the highest paid offensive lines in the league. And then you want to tell me you're going to pull Jonathan Taylor because of a fumble? It'd be different if he was always fumbling the ball, but he's not a guy that's had a fumbling problem. It was a good play by the defense. Move on. He was going to give us our best chance to win by him being out in the field, not standing on the damn sideline.
And I'll tell you what, here complaining about the Rams lost tonight.
If the Colts don't, they play the Broncos Thursday night, and then they have Jacksonville and Tennessee again, 2 more division games. If they lose them 2 division games, I don't think Frank Reich makes it the whole season. I really don't. I was so frustrated yesterday. It's like, dude, why do you not have him on the field? And that's not the only thing he done in that game.
He doesn't know how to use. He doesn't know how to use his running back. It's that simple. It's
okay. If he now Dustin was saying he was hurt. I know he had a toe going into the game, but he looked fine that whole game until and then all of a sudden he was out. So if he was hurt, I understand that. But not just that. Frank Reich, he runs the Colts team like he's a damn offensive coordinator still. You're not an offensive coordinator. Yes, you call the plays, but you're the damn head coach as well. You got to manage the whole team. And sometimes it feels like he doesn't.
I don't like coaches that have a strong running game.
Hey, what's up, Rob Scott?
What's up, Rob? I don't like coaches that have a strong running game, uh, that that has an offense that's predicated
I bet
on
you
on the running game, but yet they abandon the running game. They get away from the running game, and that's what you see with Frank Wright. Um, and I'm with you. I think he's definitely going to be on the hot seat if the Colts don't turn this around anytime soon. Look, the Colts got a new quarterback. Matt Ryan is struggling. Uh, with turnovers, constantly turning over the football. You got a revamped offensive line that has not met expectations. And you got a young and unproven group of receivers that continue to battle with inconsistencies. So this has all become an ongoing problem under Frank Wright's watch. And if they don't correct this anytime soon, it's going to turn into another disaster for the Colts, and it's going to be what would be considered a down year for the Colts because it's just looking that way. And yesterday's game was an utter catastrophe. I mean, it looked really, really bad. Worst of all, because this is an offense that's predicated on the run game. The ground game itself has hit a rut, and it has not looked strong at all. It has not looked, solid at all. Jonathan Taylor is not getting enough touches. He's not getting enough carries. And when he does get carries,
whoa. No. That's wrong. That's wrong right there. He's been getting touches. He ran the ball over 25 times yesterday and had like 40 yards. He's getting touches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's getting touches. Okay. They just took him out that last drive.
He's just not getting touches at the right time.
But I'll be honest with you, I was so mad after yesterday's game. I hadn't even really looked at much of the stuff. They did do an MRI on his ankle. It came back negative, so they said there's a chance he will play on Thursday. So I guess maybe he was banged up and didn't come back in on that one. So, but like I said, I was so aggravated the way they played. But our biggest problem is the offensive line. That's been our biggest problem so far. Is our offensive line can't block.
Join the club. The Rams are dealing with the same problem.
That's been the Colts' biggest problem is the offensive line. We can't block for nothing.
That seems to be their kryptonite right there.
And we got so much money wrapped up in the damn offensive line as well. But we have to get the playing better on the offensive line if we're going to do anything as a team.
Well, and for I don't really know the situation with the Colts offensive line, but for the Rams offensive line, they're kind of beat up. It's more telling now that they miss Andrew Whitworth. His presence, his absence, I should say, has really, really, been a huge loss for the Rams, and it shows. It shows tremendously.
Then you had the Raiders getting their first win of the season, defeating the Broncos 32-23.
Damn time.
Which the Colts play the Broncos this week on Thursday night. Let's see, let's get back up.
That's going to be a good game, right? Don't you think so?
It's all going to depend on.
You're already over the Colts season, huh?
No. I'm not over the Colts season. It's going to depend on the offensive line because Broncos have a hell of a defense. To me, they have one of the better defenses in the league. So they're Colts offensive line is going to have to be better than what they've been. Now, our offensive line was better in the second half at pass protection, and we were moving the ball, and then it was just turnovers and just or a penalty here and there.
Right.
Which just seemed like all would kill us in there in the second half. But no, I think it could be a real good game. I think the Colts could win it, but I think our big key is going to be that offensive line, how the offensive line can hold up against Denver's pass rush. And we have to get a pass rush on the defensive side of the ball. Second half, we had a better pass rush. First half, we couldn't get no pass rush going at all. And and we let Derrick Henry run all over us in the first half. Second half, we stopped Henry. Like I said, the Titans punted every time they had the ball in the second half. Our defense done their job in the second half. We just didn't do work. We didn't
Do your job
it
offensive.
wasn't all the defense's fault in the first half either, because you had a turnover that gave them the ball in the short field. So I mean, so it wasn't all the defense's fault, because some of them points was off turnovers in the first half. But we got back in the game, but just couldn't get that big drive when we needed it at the end. But I think I told my dad, though, you can't keep getting down and trying to come back. Eventually, you're not going to be able to have that comeback every week. Who gets fired first? Hackett, Reich, or McDaniel? I think either Reich or McDaniels, probably.
Which McDaniel? There's one with an S and there's one without the S.
He's talking about the one for the Raiders.
Okay, because that one right there is Mike McDaniel.
No, Mike McDaniel coaches the Dolphins.
Right, and I think it's too soon to really say he's on the hot seat. He just got there. He's talking about Josh McDaniel with the with the Raiders. Oh yeah, Josh McDaniel's definitely on the hot seat. No question about it. He shouldn't have never been hired in the first place. I've been saying that since the Raiders hired him. That he wasn't the right fit, that, things will all fall apart for the Rams. I mean, for the Raiders, excuse me.
Yeah, I can see Reich being gone, like I said, pretty soon. If we don't start playing, he's
gonna be out the door as well.
If we don't start playing better here real soon, I don't know if he'll make it the whole season. We got, like I said, our offensive line have to correct that issue somehow. And
I think Hackett's gonna go back to being an offensive coordinator.
Hey, what's up? I'm not sure who Facebook user it is, but hey, we appreciate you on here.
What's up? What's up?
How he handled the situation. Mike McDaniel should get fired. Let's see what else was it. And then we had Vikings and Saints opened up the day yesterday there in London with a game where they ended with a double doink on a 61-yard field goal attempt. I mean, that was a close game all the way through. Seahawks was able to hold the Lions off. Seahawks got a big lead, and the Lions came roaring back, but just dug themselves too big of a hole.
And then you had DK Metcalf, who had every Seattle fan, their mama, holding their collective breaths and worrying to death about whether or not he has sustained some type of injury after he was carted off the field just to use the restroom.
Hey, sometimes you got to go.
You got to go, but don't have everyone panicking.
Hey, his fault people panic because he jumped on a cart and take a ride back to the locker room. That's everybody else's fault for panicking.
I would have panicked too. I would have thought something was seriously wrong with my star player. If I see that happening.
It depends on how he got. I mean, if you saw him get on the cart and how he got on the cart, if you see him walking over there fine, I mean, you should think, hey, something's, it's something different. But
sometimes the cameras wait to show you
if you gotta go
already on the cart.
Hey, if you gotta go and you gotta go that bad, hey, get there how you gotta get there. The way I look at it. No, I agree with you, Dustin. I like O'Connell there. Minnesota's defense just has to tighten up a little bit, and they're going to be a tough team. But yeah, that was a good game. That was a big win for them yesterday.
That was a great game. That was a great way to start off the morning. It was a football game early. It kind of kicked off my Sunday. It was football all day for me, so that was cool to wake up to that game early.
I ain't gonna lie, I missed the first quarter of that game because I didn't get home Saturday night from that wrestling show till about 1:30 in the morning or so, and then I had to get my room set back up so I'd be ready for to do our watch along yesterday. So
you caught it at the right time.
So I didn't go to bed till like, I don't know, it was probably about 3:34 in the morning before I ever went to bed. So 9 o'clock over here on the Eastern time came pretty damn early. But Oh, but real quick before we move on to topics, I know this is a little off topic, but if you missed our live stream of DCCW Cornfield Carnage Saturday night, go check it out. Mick Foley was on there; he made an appearance, and you also had the Boogeyman in action, and then a bunch of other great matches on that card. You can find it on our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch channels at Gonzo Sports Room and at the All Sports All Plays Network. So go check that out, please. I'd appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel at Gonzo Sports Room and at the All Sports All Plays Network and at the Sports Judge as well. And then also follow and like us on Facebook as well. We greatly appreciate that. But no, I like what O'Connell's doing there in Minnesota. Dustin says, "Is it too early to say Geno Smith for comeback player of the year?"
No, not the way he's playing early.
I would say maybe it's a little too early. It's only week 4, but hey, I'll tell you what. Why he's doing? Hey, I'll be honest with you. Why he's doing is impressive after never really getting a whole lot of playing time throughout his career, and then what he's doing so far this season, I guarantee you, there ain't nobody that expecting him to do what he's been doing. If you look at the numbers, he's put up better numbers than Russell Wilson has so far.
Yeah. And if you're a Seahawks fan, it makes you not miss Russell Wilson at all. You know, you got a guy who's replacing him and who has shown up and has basically revitalized his career, it seems. You know, early on, from what we're seeing early on, I'm only going by based on what we've seen early. You know, can he keep this up?
Yeah.
Is this level of play from Geno Smith sustainable? You know, that remains to be seen. We don't know what the rest of the season has in store for him, but so far so good. He's been consistent. You know, a lot of his passes have been on the money. He's making plays. He's finding his receivers. He's hitting his targets, and he looks really, really good.
Jets pick up a win against the Steelers. Steelers do bring Kenny Pickett in during that game. He made a couple big time throws that I was pretty impressed with. I just saw some highlights. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch a whole lot of that game. I was watching Colts and Titans at that time. New York Giants pick up another win over the Bears. Brian Daboll, I know it was the Bears, and Bears aren't the greatest team right now, but Brian Daboll has the Giants playing some competitive football. I think he's really going to change that culture there, and he's maybe get the Giants turned around finally. I'm not saying they're going to be a playoff team this year, but I think they're going to win more games this year than they have the last few years. And I think he's going to get them moving in the right direction. I really do.
Well, you came from a Buffalo Bills team that established a winning culture, right? You come from a team. He comes from a team that knows how to win, and now he has instilled that in those players over there in New York. And you know they have bought into his system. You know, they seem to enjoy playing for him. You know, he has since he has taken that job, he has set the expectations, and so far his team has met those expectations. The Giants look really, really good to start the season.
Yeah, they've been playing some good football. Even that game they lost against the Cowboys, they were right there in that game with chances to be able to win that game. We talked enough about the Titans and Colts. Chargers beat the Texans 34-24. It was a big win for the Chargers. They needed to get back on track after the tough loss to Jacksonville.
And they did.
Falcons beat the Browns. That was a game that kind of surprised me. I figured the Browns would win that game. The Falcons pick up and win 23-20. Cowboys win another game, so now everybody just keeps jumping. More people and more people keep jumping on the Cooper Rush train to stay the starter even when Prescott gets back. Prescott's trying to get back next week. He wants to shut this down because he knows how he got his job. He got his job with a hurt Tony Romo. I know Tony Romo was later in his career and was almost done, but still, we've seen a lot of quarterbacks get their starting jobs by somebody getting hurt. So
the same happened with Drew Bledsoe.
That's why Prescott's trying to rush back. If I'm the Cowboys, I don't rush them back.
Right.
You're winning games. You're holding your position. There ain't no reason to rush them back. Get them fully healthy, then bring them back.
I completely
don't rush them back
agree
too soon. That's what I worry they're going to try to do.
I completely agree with you. I think it would be a huge mistake if you rush him back and you bring him back too soon. Why risk it when Cooper Rush is holding it down for the offense? He is, doing everything he can to keep this team afloat. And you don't really need Dak right now because, hey, if Cooper Rush can manage right now, then why bring him back? Kind of rest him up. Make sure he's 100%, for when you are really going to need Dak Prescott, if you have that much faith in him and if you believe he can carry this offense, because I don't know. Cooper Rush, man, looks like the real deal right about now. But I would like to see him against more competitive defenses.
You have the Jaguars at the Eagles. That was a good game. Jaguars jump out to an early lead. Eagles was able to battle back and get an 8-point victory, 29-21. I didn't get to watch all of it, but I watched a lot of the highlights. And what I saw of it, it was nice to see how the Eagles would respond to some adversity. They struggled there in the first half. Jaguars jump out to that big lead, but they were able to get their composure and come back and win that game. So I thought that was nice to see out of a young team that has a lot of talent. Jacksonville showing that they're a good team too as well. I know they lost that game, but they were right there. They just kind of fell apart. Some in the second half didn't play as well as they had played, but I think both those teams are going to be pretty good the rest of the season. And I think that was a big game there, just because you got to see how the Eagles responded to some adversity, and you got to kind of see how the Jags measured up against one of the better teams in the NFC. So I thought that was a fun game to watch yesterday.
Yeah, and Jalen Hurts, man, he's off to a fantastic start this season, ranking in the top 10 in completion percentage, passing yards per game, touchdown to interception ratio, and passing rating and win-loss record. Excuse me, man. Jalen Hurts, man, he has shown growth. He continues to get better game by game. And, the passing rating of 106.5 behind Lamar Jackson, Tua, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen is remarkable. We're seeing this kid grow up before our very eyes. We're seeing him mature. We're seeing him, gain the trust of his teammates. And, he is doing his thing out there. And then you have a great defense that supports you as well. So you have a ball-hawking defensive back in Darius Slay, who's doing his thing. This Eagles team has really, really lived up to the hype. They have so far exceeded expectations. I know it's still early. I know things can change. But the Eagles, man, they have convinced me that they're the team to beat in the NFC East.
Oh, yeah. Them in Dallas is going to be fun to watch because of Dallas's defense. Dallas's defense, man, especially if you let Michael Parsons get going, and he can really wreck a game. So I think that's going to be interesting to see if the Dallas defense can slow the Eagles offense down or not. That's going to be fun to watch there in the East. Then you had the Buffalo Bills at the Ravens, and Ravens with another collapse there at the end of the game, where I mean another game that they had chances to win and kind of fell apart. But the Bills get back on track after a tough loss the week before to the Dolphins. But yeah, the Ravens going to have to figure out what's happening with their defense and why their defense is collapsing late in games. Because I mean, their defense done a pretty good job on Josh Allen in that offense most of the game, and then there in the fourth quarter, it's just like they disappeared.
And you can't disappear in big games, and you particularly can't disappear in the second half. You gotta play your best game in the second half if you want to beat any team in this league. But I have some questions about some of that play calling in that game.
I'm telling you right now, Dallas is stupid to bench rush. He's a Case Keenum 2.0 and a Tom Brady 2.0 with Bledsoe. We'll see. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I wouldn't rush Prescott back. That's for damn sure. I wouldn't rush him back.
No.
I think they'll end up putting Prescott back on the field, though, because they're paying him so much money. It could.
That part. And that's the only reason why
it could very well be a mistake. I mean, a lot of people forget Dak wasn't having a great game in that game that he got hurt. And I mean, there's been times in the past that Dak's put up a lot of his numbers. I know people hate to hear this, but there's been times in the past where most of Dak's numbers have come in garbage time after the game's already been pretty much decided. So that's one reason why I wasn't on the side of paying him all that money. But I'm not a Cowboys fan, so it didn't bother me. It bothered me too much. But if the Colts would have paid him all that money, I'd have been mad. But now we'll see. We'll see what they do here. Like I said, I wouldn't start Prescott this week. I'd set him out, make sure he's 100. He's close to he's 100% before if you're going to stick him back out there.
Yeah, you don't want to risk injury, but at the same time, you don't want to mess up the chemistry that Cooper Rush has developed with his receivers.
I'm not saying that it'd be right that it's the right move to take him out. I'm just saying I think Dallas will end up taking him out.
Oh no, that's a no-brainer. They're not gonna stay with Cooper Rush. Not when you're paying Dak the kind of money that you're paying him. You're gonna start him as your starting quarterback, even if he throws interceptions, even if he has ball security issues, even if he coughs up the football. That is their guy moving forward because they gave him a bag of money. He is financially secured, and they're gonna make sure they try to get their money's worth out of Dak Prescott. No question about that.
Oh yeah. They're
yeah.
Like I said, I wouldn't rush him back. There's no way I'd start him. I would bring Dak in this week. Let him take that 6 to 8 weeks, like it was originally said. Let him have that time. Make sure he's 100. If you're going to bring him back in, make sure he's 100% healthy. It's going to be interesting. And what'll also be interesting to see is if they do bring Dak in. Say they start Dak this week. I don't think it'll be this week, but who knows? But say they start him this week and first half Dak doesn't play good. You're going to have that fan base turning on you. Everybody's going to be yelling for Rush. And are you going to go back to Rush in the second half? You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting to see what happens if they bring Prescott back in that first half. The offense looks terrible. What they do. Because I mean, if you know what I mean, you go,
right.
You take Rush out and you start Dak and he's not playing good, are you going to switch him back?
Then you have a quarterback controversy.
Well, and that's what Dak's worried about. He's worried about, well, if I sit out a couple more games and he wins, more in a
Yeah,
row.
he's worried about losing his job.
He's worried about that there being a quarterback controversy. It's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do there in Dallas. Glenn says Jerry Jones loves the headlines. When Dak's ready, he'll play. I kind of tend that. I kind of tend to believe that he'll play too, but I just hope they don't rush him back. I think that'd be a big mistake if they do. I shouldn't say I hope they don't because I'm not a Dallas Cowboys fan anyway, but I think it'd be a mistake to rush him back. Would be what I would say. I think it'd be a mistake to rush him back. If you're going to make that change, make that change, but I wouldn't make that change until Dak Prescott's 100%. I'm not bringing Dak Prescott in when he's only 75% to try to bring him back as a starter. If I'm bringing him back, I'm waiting until he's 100%.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And not when Dak tries to tell you he's 100%. When your doctors think that he's 100%.
Well, Dak's gonna say he's okay. Any athlete's gonna say they're okay when they know physically they're not okay. They're gonna say that because they're competitors. They want to be out there on the field. I mean, it's tough to stand on the sideline and watch your team go to battle each week.
Well, not just that. Watch somebody else that is playing better than what you were when you were in the game, and
right, and producing while you're sitting on the sideline watching. That's tough to bear for any professional athlete, not just Dak Prescott, but any athlete that has sustained an injury that keeps him sidelined where he is unavailable and can't do much to be productive.
Yeah. Yeah, the Patriots, the Packers end up going into overtime. End up being a lot better game than I figured it would. But Packers end up pulling out the victory there. Then you had the Chiefs at the Buccaneers last night. Chiefs get out to a big lead, partly helped by some of the Buccaneers' turnovers, especially early in the game. They had two quick turnovers early in the game and fell behind real quick. But then the Buccaneers was able to come back in that second half and make a game out of it, and had a chance to try to tie it there. But tell you what, it was a good game to watch. I'd like to see these two teams play later on in the year because I think Tampa's offense is going to be better later in the year than they are now. They're just now getting some of the receivers back that have been out. You have some new pieces on that offensive line, some new pieces at receiver. I think that as Brady gets to play with them guys more, that offense is going to start to gel some more. They have a strong defense. So I'd like to see these two teams play later in the season. I know the only way they'll play later in the season now will be in the Super Bowl.
Right. I was just about to say. So you hoping to see?
I don't know if they're going to make it to the Super Bowl, so I don't know if we'll see it again this year. But
wouldn't that be something if we see Tom Brady in the Super Bowl for one last time?
Oh, I mean, yeah. I
think that would be a treat. A treat.
I mean, I guess it'd be all right
for football fans, right? If you like Tom Brady,
that's what I'm saying. I can't give Tom. I'll give Tom his respect because he's Tom Brady and he's the GOAT, but I also can't give Tom too much because he was a rival for so many years.
Right. And
being a Colts fan, it's hard to root for Tom Brady. But no,
a lot of people, as we know,
I wouldn't mind seeing them there again. I don't necessarily. But with the NFC right now, it's pretty wide open. I mean, you have some good teams. So who knows who's going to make it there? And even in the AFC, you have a group of teams in the AFC where I think anybody can beat anybody. So it's going to be interesting to see where what happens. I love it, Glenn.
Where teams end up, but hey,
I love it, Glenn, in my Iron Sheik voice.
but hey,
you know who the Iron Sheik is?
Listen here though.
Wait a minute. You know, before you go, do you know who the Iron Sheik is? I know you're not a big pro wrestling fan, so I didn't know if you know who the Iron Sheik was.
No, you have to educate me on that one.
He's an old school wrestler. Wrestled back in the days of like Hulk Hogan and back before that and stuff. He's an old school guy.
Oh, okay. Was he before my time growing up in the 90s?
I got to watch him some when I was growing up.
Because I remember a lot of the wrestlers in the 90s.
I don't think you're.
I was around watching. I was watching wrestling. I was really into it in the 90s.
Oh, you're not that much younger than me, are you? I can't remember how old
you
are.
I'm 37.
Okay, so you're 5 years younger than me. So.
Yeah, I remember the Ultimate Warrior. I remember the Big Boss Man. I remember the Snake Man. I remember Hulk Hogan.
He was the one that had the boots that curled up at the toe.
Oh, that guy. Okay, yeah, I remember him. I even remember when Debo wrestled.
Yep.
Not the 49ers wide receiver to all the youngsters out there. I'm talking about Debo, the one that got his bike stolen in the movie Friday. That's Zeus. The Debo I'm talking about.
Zeus.
Yeah. I remember when he was
in the movie with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. And one of my favorite wrestlers was Randy Savage, the Macho Man.
Yep, Macho Man.
I loved the Macho Man back in the day. So I used to be
Macho Man played. Macho Man was played pro baseball. Was a catcher.
Who?
Macho Man. He was a catcher. Played baseball.
Oh, I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. Do you remember Doink the Clown?
Yep. I've actually got to meet Doink in person.
Really?
Yep.
Remember Bam Bam Bigelow?
Yep. Remember Bam Bam? Oh yeah, dude. I grew up watching all them guys.
Who's another one? Shawn Michaels.
Yep, Shawn Michaels. Shawn's second in charge in WWE now behind Triple H.
Oh, is he?
Yep.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I grew up watching all them guys, man.
Yeah, Owen Hart.
Yep. I actually was watching the pay-per-view when Owen Hart fell from the catwalk and died.
Yeah. Ric Flair.
Yep.
Woo!
I've got to meet Ric Flair. I've got to meet Ric Flair before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to meet Mick Foley just over the weekend, and that was awesome.
Mankind.
Yep.
See, I remember a lot of them. I used to watch it in high school too. I was big on wrestling when I was a high schooler. So I remember like the Hardy brothers. The one that used to always say, "Oh, testify." I forgot his name. Booker T before he became King Booker. Booker T still. I always get it wrong.
He still does stuff with WWE. He don't wrestle no more, but he does other things with them.
But didn't he proclaim himself as King Booker?
Oh yeah, he was King Booker for a while.
Okay.
No disrespect to the wrestlers mentioned, but wrestling died when Undertaker retired.
Yeah.
Undertaker's a cool dude.
I used to love the Undertaker. And then Jake the Snake Man, every time he'll win, real quick
before we get back talking to. But Jake, since you brought up Jake the Snake, it's been probably about. My son was what? It's probably about 12, 13 years ago. Me and my dad was helping run this wrestling show at a community center here in town, and Jake, when we had Jake the Snake, came in, and dude, I got to sit outside this community center for like an hour. I was sitting out there just smoking a cigarette, talking to Jake the Snake Roberts on a random Saturday night here in Muncie, Indiana. It was awesome, dude. Dude's crazy. He's crazy, but man,
he used to put a pipe on top of people after he would after he would defeat them.
He had a snake there at the event. I actually he didn't have his snake. That's the snake. There was a snake that we got a pet store from here to donate, a big python from used. But now back in the day, I was probably about 9, 10 years old. We had second row seats at a WWF show back at Market Square Arena in Indianapolis, and we was right on the aisleway. And me and my brother and my cousin, we actually got to hold Damien, his original python he always brought to the ring. He held it out and we all got to touch it, and it was pretty cool. But Jake the Snake. Man, I got to meet him that night. Oh, man, he was cracking me up. But it was pretty cool just sitting outside the community center, just sitting there shooting the shit with Jake the Snake Roberts.
That's a cool story right there.
Dude, he don't trust nobody. So he didn't want to leave his money in the locker room because like he sold a bunch of merch and stuff like before the show started. So he had his money in this Crown Royal bag and he had stuck it in his into his tights. And as he's wrestling, the bag falls out and his money's bouncing all over the ring. The referee's trying to pick it up and tell him, I got it for you. I got it for you. Yeah, dude, money just flying over out. All his money just flying around the ring. It was crazy.
Man, now you're talking like he's the $1 million man.
He just but he had the damn money in a Crown Royal bag and stuffed it in his tights because he didn't want to leave it.
Because you had a wrestler back in the day too who was the $1 million man.
Oh yeah, $1 million man, Ted DiBiase.
Right, and he would shove money in your mouth after he would defeat you. I remember that. And then Hot Rod, I remember Hot Rod. Oh, man, them were the days for wrestling. Them were the good old times. I used to collect them too. I used to have the figurines and stuff in the boxing ring.
Oh yeah, I used to have a bunch of that stuff. Oh, actually, speaking of Ric Flair, I actually have a Ric Flair sitting right here, Judge.
Oh, what? Look at you with all your collectibles.
This one, my son bought me this one. Because he knows I'm a big Ric Flair fan, and he saw it. You can change it. You can change the head, and you can change the hands and stuff on it.
Who doesn't like Ric Flair?
But
like if you like wrestling and you don't like Ric Flair, then you really don't like wrestling.
But it's staying in the box because that thing eventually could be worth some money. So it's never been out of the box. It just sits in here in the podcast room.
He's a legend.
Dribble Boy Basketball finally got to see Ted not too long ago. Oh yeah, Ted was Ted has a son that wrestles now. But no, man, we got some big games coming up this week. Like I said, Colts and Broncos is the Thursday night game. Going to be some big college games as well this weekend. There was some good college football games over the weekend as well. No, we talked a lot of NFL. Haven't really talked about a lot of college football tonight. But what I figure we'll do is Wednesday night we'll preview the Thursday night game, and we'll talk some college football. And then on Friday we'll do like we usually do and preview NFL Sunday.
Hell yeah!
One thing I did want to talk about tonight before we get out of here, I want to talk a little baseball. Got baseball just a couple days left of baseball. Regular season ends on Wednesday, and you have Thursday off, and then Friday Major League Baseball playoffs start. Looking forward to it. With the way this season's ending, what do you think is going to happen in the playoffs?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned baseball because before we get into the playoffs, I just want to ask you this question. Is Aaron Judge going to pass Roger Maris or not?
What's he have? Two more games?
2 more games left. 2 more games remaining. I mean, it's impressive that he's tied the record.
He's still sitting at 61.
He's still sitting at 61. And he struggled to get 61. I mean, it took him damn near 7+ games to get 61. This is an incredible feat. I know it's not easy.
Well, a lot of some of the problem is, man, is that the guys behind him aren't hitting the ball. So they can afford to walk him because the guys behind him aren't making them pay for walking them. Rizzo and your guys your 2 or 3 guys batting behind Judge. If they were hitting the ball better, he would be getting better pitches to hit. He's not getting great pitches to hit because they'll walk him because they feel like they can get them other guys out. Where if them guys were starting to hit the ball more, you know what I'm saying? If them guys are hitting the ball more, then it's hard to walk him because hey, them guys are hot, but them guys haven't been hot. So that's one reason. That's one reason I think he's not getting a lot of pitches to hit. Other reason is people don't want to be the guy or the team that gives up the record.
Of course not.
You get that, but as well,
I wouldn't mind being on the bad side of history.
But when you're especially on these teams that we're still competing for playoffs. If if your guys behind them aren't protecting them by hitting the ball, they're going to walk them. I watched I was watching college football Saturday before we left, or was it Friday? It might have been Friday night, or it might have been yesterday. I can't remember. They had it was Saturday because they had college football on, and then they were panning in and showing Aaron Judge's at bats. Now I'm pretty sure it was Saturday before I left, or it might have been Friday night during college, one of them nights. But anyway, he wasn't getting great pitches. I mean, everything's breaking ball on the outside part of the plate, so he's not getting a whole lot of good pitches to hit out of the park, let alone get base hits. Now he's on jeopardy of not getting them. He's probably not going to get the Triple Crown either.
Right.
His batting average has dropped, so he's. I mean, he's in jeopardy. Everybody thought he might get. Everybody thought he would maybe get both, and now he might not get either.
Right.
I think he gets 62. I think he'll hit a home run between the next tomorrow and Wednesday. I think he'll get one. But I was more excited to see him get the Triple Crown than I was to get the 62.
But you would think that it would have a mental effect.
I know this is unpopular opinion, but I was hoping to get the Triple Crown more than the 62, just because home run record is 73.
Yeah, and the Triple Crown is something that you rarely see in baseball. Yeah. I mean, the last time we saw that happen, Miguel Cabrera won the Triple Crown. So, I mean, it's been some years.
I think it was 12 years ago.
Yeah, since a player has claimed the Triple Crown. So, yeah, that would have been more impressive. But you would have to think
Deuce, thanks for joining us.
Hey, what's up, Deuce? Thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Thanks for chilling with us. I would think, though, Chris, that it would have some kind of mental effect on Aaron Judge. I mean, he knows that there's a lot of pressure on him, that the spotlight is beaming down on him to get home run number 62. And sometimes when you're chasing a record, it's really hard to get that hit, and then once you surpass the player that you're chasing, then you go back, it goes back to being normal, and you start hitting all these home runs out of nowhere.
Well, if you remember, right, 2 weeks ago, I was saying the longer it took him to get the 62, the less chance I thought he had at getting the Triple Crown because of that. Because look, when he was at 60, like you said, it took him forever to get 61. It took him 6-7 games.
Trying too hard.
So all you heard for that whole week, a little over a week, was the media, all the fans, everybody. That's all they were talking about.
Right.
So it can get distracting. You can get up to the plate and you can start pressing some. So I did. I know you remember me saying that. I said it for the last couple of weeks multiple times that the longer, I said it on some other shows too, but the longer it took.
So I think it has some kind of effect on him.
Yeah.
Mentally, and he's not able to get that big hit because he's looking for it to happen, and he's constantly trying hard to get that hit, so I think when he's coming up to the plate, he's over aggressive, like you see from Cody Bellinger. But Cody Bellinger's not chasing a record, and he's just over aggressive. Period.
Yeah, he's been hitting the ball better here last week or so, hasn't
he? He has. But hopefully that he keeps that up, because they're gonna need his bat. They're gonna need his bat in October.
Let me ask you this: you're a Dodgers fan.
Yes.
Your Dodgers won the World Series this year.
If they could get the production out of their starting rotation and out of their bullpen, yes.
To me, I was more worried about their closer. If their closer, they're basically their bullpen, as well, I was worried more about than their starting pitching. But like I said, you're a Dodgers fan, so you watch them play a lot more than I do. My dad watches them a lot because my mom's a Dodgers fan, and when she don't get off work usually till like 11:30 at night, Eastern time. Well, Dodgers are a lot of times just starting their game. You know what I mean? Here on the East Coast. So he watches a lot. He watches a lot of Dodgers games with my mom, even though he's a Reds fan as well as I am. But I mean, they're a tough team. I know at the beginning. I know through the middle of the year, my dad's like, man, I don't think anybody can beat the Dodgers. But then they have cooled off some. But I think a lot of it's going to come down to their bullpen. I think that's going to be the big key for them. I'm sticking with my prediction from the beginning of the season: Mets and Yankees Subway Series. We'll see what happens with that. I think if the Mets can stay healthy, if Scherzer's healthy and a healthy DeGrom, I think that gives the Mets a chance against anybody, because having to face them guys twice in a 7-game series is going to be tough. So if they can get anything out of Bassett and Walker, and then if they're, you know what I mean. So I think they can be dangerous. You got to watch out for the Braves. I mean, we know, and the Cardinals. You know how, I mean, the Cardinals, this is the time of year they play. We've seen what the Braves have done this season. They've been one of the better teams in the National League as well.
And so the Dodgers know how many times the Cardinals have broken their hearts.
You probably don't like the Cardinals, do you, being a Dodgers fan?
Not too much, but they don't have Matt Carpenter anymore, who used to own Clayton Kershaw.
My son is a big St. Louis Cardinals fan, huge St. Louis Cardinals fan, and so me and him go at it because Reds and Cardinals, same. I'm a Reds fan, he's Cardinals, same division. I've gotten lucky because every time I've took my son to a game, it's like almost every time we've went and watched the Reds and the Cardinals play each other there in Cincinnati, the Reds have won. I know like 2 of the series, that was the only game of the series that the Reds won. They lost the next 2 nights to the Cardinals, but the night we were there, I got lucky enough that the Reds won. I didn't have to take it from him all the way home. We could dish it out a little bit, stab to receive it. Ooh,
yeah, the Cardinals, they got a nice squad though, man. They got Nolan Arenado, they got Paul Goldschmidt, who's a MVP candidate this year in the National League.
I'm glad to see Mariners now. Be nice to see Mariners get in there.
And you got the flamethrower, who I really like, Jordan Hicks.
It'd be nice seeing the Mariners getting the playoffs for the first time in over 20 years.
In 21 years, the last time they got in the playoffs, you want to know how old I was? 16 years old, a sophomore in high school.
You know how old I was? 21.
I remember that season very well. Etrio was a rookie that year.
Yep.
I think that was the year the first iPod came out.
I've been 21 years old last time they made the playoffs.
Yeah, I was 16. Edgar Martinez was still on that team.
Yeah.
The Hall of Famer. And Aaron Boone's brother, Brant Boone.
Yep. Who you think's going to come out of the American League? I know you're going for the Dodgers in the National League. Who you think in the American League?
It's going to be between the Yankees or the Astros.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to say that because I don't think they'll make the World Series this year. With the Mariners, if they get hot, it could cause some damage in the playoffs with that pitching staff they have. If their bats can get hot,
that's my sleeper team.
Because them adding Castillo late in the year was a big pickup for them. I would say the favorites have to be the Yankees, Astros. Now I put the Blue Jays up there. Blue Jays have played a lot better in the second half of the season. Started looking like the team that everybody was expecting them to be throughout the whole season. So I can see the Blue Jays. Dustin Reese, the stat guy, we do that baseball show together. He's had the Blue Jays since the beginning of the season.
But see, Chris, that's what I love about baseball because it's so unpredictable. I mean, it could go either way. You know, any one of these teams can get hot.
Oh, Yeah, when
in
Friday hit.
October and take off, and next thing you know, they're in the World Series.
Well, I watch baseball about every day during the season because I watch almost every Reds game, even though they're terrible. But baseball playoffs is when I really get in, really love watching it. And Friday night, like I said, my teammate didn't make the playoffs, but Friday night I'll be watching playoff baseball. Uh, Saturday I'll watch it some, and then Sunday I'll get to watch some of it when I get back home. I got a wrestling show Sunday in Greenfield. Stevie, you need to come watch some wrestling with us. Come call some wrestling with us this weekend. I could use you. But then my cousin's on here. But then also we're going to be doing a live watch along for any of your wrestling fans. Extreme Rules this Saturday night. We'll be doing a live watch along in reaction to that. I think that starts at 8 o'clock Saturday night. So come join us for that. We cover a little bit of everything here at Gonzo Sports Room, UFC, pro wrestling, sport, about any sport you can think of. Going to try to get back. I'll be honest, we haven't covered a lot of soccer or NASCAR. Going to try to start covering more soccer. I'm going to try to get into that sport more. NASCAR, I like watching NASCAR. I don't get to watch it as much because a lot of times on Sundays I'm just busy, and I haven't talk a whole lot of NASCAR because if I'm going to talk about, I want to know more about it. So I'd like to get somebody on that knows NASCAR with me. And I haven't found the guy yet that has the free time to be able to do it. So eventually we will be covering more soccer and NASCAR on our shows. That's something I'm working towards covering some more hockey. We cover hockey some, but not as much as I would like. I want to try to give every sport the coverage they deserve. I know it's hard because you run out of time, but that's
Give
where
every sport some glory, huh?
Huh?
Give every sport some glory.
Yeah.
Some glory, huh?
That's my goal is what I want to get to it, but I don't want to. Like I know I watch a lot of baseball, I watch a lot of football and basketball, so I know those sports more. Where when you don't watch a lot, I don't, I don't want to try to cover something and do it half-assed. If I'm going to cover, I want to know what I'm talking about.
Right.
So that's why.
Like me earlier saying that Jonathan Taylor's not getting enough touches.
And like soccer,
you don't want to be like that.
Soccer, I've never got into soccer. You know what I mean? I just haven't. I don't know why. It might be because I really haven't went and watched like a live game. I went and watched some high school games. I went and watched my cousins play some, but so I'm gonna go check it out. We have a team here in Indianapolis. I'm gonna go watch them and give it a shot. I'm gonna try to watch more of the World Cup this year. My dad watches the World Cup. I have never really watched a whole lot of it. I watch a little bit sometimes in the Olympics. I just never got. I don't know. It's just not something. I'll be honest with you. I've watched more tennis in my life than I have soccer.
Same. I usually watch the World Cup every year though.
And I like watching golf. I know some people like, how can you sit and watch golf, dude? Especially when Tiger was playing. But I still watch it now, especially if it's a major. But even some of the times when it's not majors on, especially when it's not football season on Sunday, I'll be watching golf. Final round.
I could do golf.
I was hoping Tiger would make a comeback. It ain't looking like I don't know if his body's going to allow him to get back up to that level or not. He's trying, but he ain't been able to put it all together yet since that big car wreck, which sucked.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be a fun baseball playoffs. I really do.
I do too. I always look forward to October. I'm so fired up for it.
Starting up on Friday.
I know what I will be doing most of my nights. Most of my time will be devoted to baseball.
So before we get out of here, guys, Wednesday we'll talk some college football. Of course, we'll be talking baseball because we'll be heading into the playoffs. Friday we'll talk what's going on, and since we don't go on to 11, we'll talk some of the baseball playoff games that went on Friday. We'll talk, and then we'll get into our preview of Sunday football. Wednesday we'll also preview the Colts and the Broncos game on Thursday night. Talk a little bit about that. But Judge, before we get out of here, You got any final thoughts or anything else? Something we didn't cover that you wanted to talk about?
Man. I can't wait till Wednesday night because we're going to have a great show for you guys. Thank you to all our viewers out there. Really appreciate the love and the support. It's awesome. We have a blast doing this show. Chris and I have been doing this show for, almost 2 months now? A little over 2 months, maybe?
Yeah, about that. Off and on because of my health, but yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we've been making it happen regardless, and
when Chris can stay healthy long enough to be on a show, we do a show.
right. Yeah, we constantly on the grind. So
hopefully they're getting
here doing our thing.
I'm getting to a point where the doctors are figuring my shit out. I spent most of the day today at the doctor's office, so
yeah, and if you guys want to keep up,
hey, thanks, Stevie. I appreciate it, brother. Like I said, man, hit me up.
Thanks, brother. Thanks.
Hit me up. I like to get you back on some. He used to do a lot of these shows with me, but
okay,
he's been busy and hadn't been on for a while. So hopefully we can get him back on doing some shows.
Hopefully we can get him on the show. And you know what? What's his name again?
Stevie.
You are more than welcome to subscribe and like my Facebook channel. I mean, not my Facebook channel, my YouTube channel. You can find me on YouTube, The Sports Judge. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and like some of the videos there. I post all type of content. I'm always talking sports on there, and you're more than welcome, my friends. So check that out. And to the rest of you guys who's watching, you guys know where I'm at. Find me on YouTube. Hit me up, The Sports Judge. And you guys can also follow my fan page on Facebook as well. You guys should like and follow there as well. I post memes on there. I post my commentary. I post messages, comments about different teams, different players. And, if you want to chat, you can hit me up and we could be buddies on there. So check that out. All that good stuff for you.
Yeah, before we get out here, don't forget, tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., Around the Bases, our baseball show I do with the stat guy, Dustin Reese. Come join us. We'll be talking about the last couple of days of the regular season heading into the playoffs. Also tomorrow, the ASAP Afternoon Blitz at 1 p.m. Eastern. Come join us for that. You can find out on the All Sports All Plays Network. Around the Bases is also on the All Sports All Plays Network and on the Gonzo Sports Room, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch as well. Then also join us for Easy Money, a sports betting show, 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Again, that's live at Gonzo Sports Room on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and at the All Sports All Plays Network, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And then tomorrow's Tuesday. That's pretty much my schedule for tomorrow. I'll be on Unscripted tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Check them out at Unscripted on YouTube or on at the All Sports All Plays Network. And then and then we're back to our full regular schedule. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room. I greatly appreciate it. Please like and follow us on Facebook and Twitch. Leave a review on the Facebook page, all at Gonzo Sports Room. Also hit that subscribe button on the YouTube page for the All Sports All Plays Network. Have a lot of talented guys over there with that network. Show them some love as well. I'm on there every Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern for the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. You can also find me on the morning show sometimes. I'm on there with baseball. All of our Gonzo Sports Room shows are on the All Sports All Plays Network. So a lot of talented guys over there as well. Go check out Mike Hughes, Craig James and Ray Cruz in the morning. Pride's over there some in the morning. They got a lot of talented guys, so go check them out. Like I said, if you missed our wrestling show Saturday night, DCCW Cornfield Carnage, go check it out. You had an appearance by the WWE Hall of Famer and hardcore legend Mick Foley. Also, WWE legend The Boogeyman was in action. And then you had a lot of great talent. You've had guys and women that's been on AEW Dark, OVW. You have some WWE prospects that was on there. It was an awesome show. So go check that out. You can find it on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch at Gonzo Sports Room, or you can find it on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch at the All Sports All Plays Network. Also on my Gonzo Sports Room YouTube page and Facebook page, I have the whole show broke down into single matches. I've also put up some little like 20, 30-second clips of some of the like highlight moves and stuff. So go check that out. If you're a wrestling fan, like I said, we'll be live streaming another wrestling show this Sunday, Summit Pro Wrestling live from Greenfield, Indiana. Going to be an awesome show. That show actually starts at 3:00 Sunday afternoon. So I know it's the same time as NFL football, but hey, even if you can just pop over there and give us a like, we'd appreciate it. But Judge, you have anything else? Anything I missed?
Nah, you talked about it all.
All right. That's what I like to hear. You talked about it all.
Talked about it all.
But no, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Stay safe.
Thank you, guys.
Got a crazy world out there, so stay safe. We will see you guys for another episode of Gonzo and the Judge Sports Talk Wednesday night, 11 Eastern. Till then, be safe and peace.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.